Welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. This is a safe space where we invite healthcare providers to unapologetically be themselves after the working day. My name is Jennifer George, and each week I will connect you with guests and stories that will help transform your stress to success and fulfillment. Are you with me? Grab your drink of choice and let's chat. Hey everyone, welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. I'm your host, Jennifer George, and I want to chat with you today about taming the overwhelm where you're at. Okay, what are a couple things that we can do in the moment when we are feeling overwhelmed? Okay, overwhelm is not an unfamiliar feeling for us as healthcare providers. Imagine every single decision that we make a day. We make so many decisions a day. We are confronted by so many different personalities a day, and we have to adapt. And adapting is difficult. Okay, adapting is difficult. Fitting in and making things work is difficult. And at some point, decisions need to be made that can sometimes feel like it's too much. And that's what I mean by overwhelm. And one of the things that I've found powerful with overwhelm is that in managing it, is that distancing myself from the situation is big. Like if I can't talk about it at the moment, I have to process it. I have to step back and literally distance myself. So whether I go and grab a drink of water, right? Whether I just go into the office and sit down and take a few deep breaths, whether it's reciting a mantra, whether it's finding gratitude. Sometimes that's something I'll do. I'll say a little prayer, whatever it might be. That's one of the things that I do is I distance myself and I try to reset myself that way. And then once I feel like I'm a little bit more at ease, I'll ask myself, well, what's the next best step or shift that I can make, not to change the situation at this point, but rather to make myself feel better so that I can continue on with my day to help the next person who needs me. Okay. And so that's something that I have to face. And that's something that I have to ask myself. So again, what's the next best thing that I could do to find peace in the moment? Okay. So whether that's asking for support or for help, okay, from a trusted colleague, or whether that's changing my schedule around, whether that's, it could, like I said, be like taking a break, going out for a walk if it permits, whatever it might be, what can I do right now to allow myself to feel a little more at peace than I did a moment ago? Okay, because we cannot make decisions in a moment of overwhelm. And if we do, chances are the decision doesn't help the situation. And then when it doesn't help the situation, we start to feel even worse. Okay, so the goal of doing this and the goal of managing overwhelm in the moment is to allow yourself to get back to a little bit more peace, a little more calmness, a little more clarity, so that you can make the next best decision. Okay, and if the situation warrants a decision, then you can do it at that point. But if we confront, and I've said this before, if we confront a resistant situation, right, which is the matter at hand, with resistance from within, which is that overwhelm, it's going to be really hard to make a sound decision. Okay, so we have to somehow calibrate ourselves, if you want to think of it that way. We have to somehow turn inward. And the other thing I was going to say is if a patient is in this state of overwhelm, what's the first thing you would do for them, right? You would help them. You would do whatever you could to help them find peace and calmness. You would remove them from the situation probably, right? Or help remove them from the situation. You might ask them to close their eyes. You might ask them to take a deep breath. You might ask them to put their hand on their heart, whatever it might be for you. And that's just being in integrity, right? It's serving. It's not, we don't only give compassion to others, we give compassion to ourselves too. And we need that. And we need to allow ourselves to be human at the end of the day. Okay. We're not perfect. We are human and we're allowed to feel. And, sometimes I get on a little bit of a rant because I really feel like healthcare providers through their education are conditioned to be so disconnected from that, from feeling. And it's so hard when you think about it because we get into the profession to help people. And that's what we know helps us to feel good, right? That's what serves us at the end of the day as well. But if we don't check in with how we're feeling, how are we supposed to know if we're on the right track? Okay, because you can still help people, but if it's not making you feel good, then there's something going on. There's a disconnect there. And we need to look at that a little bit more closely, and that's okay. We are allowed to feel. And the other thing I'll say is, along the way, and I've chatted about this in other podcasts, is, checking in with your intentions, checking in with your reflections. Okay. Both matter. And if we can do that along the way, even if it's in thought, okay, even if it's in a moment, so you're saying it out loud, or you're thinking about something out loud and you're talking about it, whatever it might be, if you're not writing it down, it's okay. But that along the way might also help us to operate at a state where, we're a little more calm overall, where we've established a little more inner peace overall. And it might take a little bit more for us to experience overwhelm. Okay, but the purpose of this podcast is more about the moment of overwhelm. Okay, so distance yourself, remove yourself from the situation. Do what you have to do to just kind of calm your body or the tension going on in your body. So whether it's taking a sip of water, whether it's going to the bathroom, taking a couple of deep breaths, whether it's saying a mantra, whether it's prayer, and then asking yourself, what's the next best thing that I can do to feel more at peace before I deal with this situation and before I make a decision. Okay, how can I find a little more peace? And this might only take a few moments, right? This doesn't have to take a whole day. If it does, then that's what you need, if that's what you need. But you're asking yourself, well, what's the next thing that I can do to bring myself some peace? And we have to just feel our way through it. Okay, we have to feel our way through it. There's nothing wrong with it. We all need to check in. Okay, we all need to check in. So I hope this helps you. Let me know if you're doing this already. I sometimes think that these are things that we just end up doing anyway, without realizing it though. And just understand that not everything needs a quick decision. And sometimes we have to put our own wellness first in order to make the best decision for that person who might need it. Okay. So if you like this podcast, please take a screenshot, tag me. My handle's at Best Obsessed with Jen. And until we chat next time, remember to stay well and to stay happy. So if you guys like this podcast, please subscribe and leave an honest review. Your feedback means everything to me. Your reviews are what moves this podcast forward, and I always appreciate receiving them. If you want to get a hold of me directly, reach out to me on social media. My handles are in the show notes, and you can always subscribe to my weekly newsletters at jennifergeorge.co so that we can stay connected. So until next time, thank you guys so much again for your ongoing support.